Okay, so we're looking at the factorizing answers of questions that I've sent you. So, at question 1, we have a 3x squared y minus 6x y squared. The first thing we look at when we're dealing with factorizing, we're looking for a few things. Before we even begin, we look for a few things, and those things are: number 1, is there a highest common factor? Number 2, is there a difference of two squares? And then number 3, is it grouping? That's actually the 3 different types of factorizing that we get. And it's the main ones that we focus on. So whenever you're factorizing, you're always looking for these 3 things first, right? Is there a highest common factor? If there isn't, is there maybe different two squares? If there isn't that, is there grouping? Grouping comes along only when there is 4 or more terms. Grouping comes along when there's 4 or more terms. If there isn't that, then we're just going to factorize like normal into that factors that we have. That brackets, the 2 brackets, right? So looking at question number 1, I have a 3x squared y. On this side, I have a 6xy squared. So 3 can go into 6 and 3 can go into itself. That means a factor, or the common factor that I have here is 3. But I also have an x there and an x here, and also a y there and a y there. So the highest common factor, it has to be 3xy. Highest common factor for that equation has to be 3xy. Then I write what's left over. After I take out the 3xy over here, I'm left with only an x. After taking the 3xy over here, I'm left with a negative 2y. So when I check my answer and go back, I say to myself, 3xy multiplied x gives me 3x squared y. 3xy times negative 2y gives me negative 6xy squared. And that's my answer. Straightforward. Very straightforward. Looking at the next one, I got 4 sin squared x divided by 9b squared minus 12 sin x over 27b. Once again, this doesn't change anything. We are still looking for highest common factor. The difference of two squares, or is it grouping? Obviously, it's not 2 or 3. It has to be number 1. So I know that many people get worried, or they get or their focus gets shifted when they see trigonometry. But let us look at it like this rather than. Think of it as we have 4a squared over 9b squared minus 12a over 27b. It's the exact same thing. That is just a variable, a placeholder. That's an x. Just a placeholder. So how I'm going to do this is, I will look at the top only first. Let's look at the top, the numerators first. The highest common factor of the numerator will be a 4a, because a 4a can go into here, and that one there, right? So I'll take a highest common factor of 4a. Then I look at the bottom now. The highest common factor I can take out from bottom the denominators is a 9b. So I take out a 9b. Because 9 can go into 27 3 times. And 9 goes into itself 1 time. So what's left over from the top? If I take out the 4a from the numerator here, I'm left with a what? An a. If I take out the 9b here, what's left over is only a b. If I take out the 4a here, I'm left with a minus 3. If I take out the 9b over here, I'm left with a 3 as well. Because 9b times 3 will give me 27 equals. This 3 over 3 will just simplify into 1 because 3 over 3 is equal to 1. Then my answer I'm left with is 4a over 9b, a over b minus 1. This is the exact same thing um, as the sine x and the sin squared x. It's just that people get worried. You get worried when you see trigonometry, and I don't want you to be worried. You can do this on the side of your test sheet or your answer sheet, and then all you must just do is you substitute back that sine x into a, because it's like the K method almost, you can say, just to make your vision a bit more clear while you're factorizing. Okay, yeah, that's how you can also, yeah, the K. This is basically the K method. It's actually the K method. Using K, you are substituting K into a variable that you don't like, that you're not comfortable with. Okay, number three. Number three is there is no highest common factor because 4 can't go into 9. There's no x and there's no y in both that they're sharing. So this is differences of two squares. This is differences of two squares. Differences of two squares. So 2 times 2 gives me 2x times 2x gives me 4x squared. Positive 3y times negative 3y gives me a negative 9 squared. Negative 9y squared. Difference of two squares is very simple. And that's all you have to do for difference of two squares. That's actually all you have to do. You just make sure that this number or this one in front, multiply this one here in front, gives you that one there. This one in the back times this one there at the back must give you that. Then that's the difference of two squares. Straightforward and simple. You never need to think. All you must know is when you say 3y times a 3y gives you 3y squared. That is laws of exponents, and we should know that by now, because that is very straightforward. The difference of squares is actually the easiest one to factorize out of all of them. Like we have here, this is also the difference of two squares. Differences of two squares. That is why I have 1 minus a to the power 4. It just gets broken up into 1 plus a squared, 1 minus a squared. If you had a to the power of 4 minus 1, you're going to have a squared plus 1, a squared minus 1. Then you write this over. Then you're going to have on the side a plus 1, a minus 1. A minus 1. This, this over here, and this one over here, these are both differences of two squares. Both of them. Because that minus always tells you there's more to factorize. That's what it's telling us. So, number 5. Number 5 is 2x to the power of 3 minus 50x. Here is no difference of the two squares just yet, because I don't see it yet, right? I don't see this difference of squares yet. I just look at this here and I see there's a 2x to the power of 3 minus 50x. I must know already. There's no grouping, there's only two terms. There's no difference of two squares, so I must look for highest common factor. Also, I can't factorize immediately yet. I must look for the highest common factor. That's the first thing you look for. And I see there's a 2x is my highest common factor. So I take out a 2x. I write what's left over. If I take out a 2x here, I'm left with an x squared. If I take out a 2x over here, I'm left with 25, a negative 25. Very important for that sign to be there. Only now will this be differences of two squares. I put my common factor down, then I factorize this bracket. X plus 5, x minus 5. The difference of two squares will always be like that. X plus 5, x minus 5. There will always be quite similar brackets, just the sign will be different. What's inside will be the same, but the sign will be different. That is all. That is all. Okay. Now, moving along to number 6. Number 6 is saying to us 45 minus 5 over b squared. You might think it's difference of two squares immediately. Maybe we can make it like that if we really want to, but it will be incorrect because when it's asked to factorize completely, we have to factorize completely. And that means we look for the first thing. The first thing we look for is the highest common factor. That's always the first thing you look for. Is there a highest common factor? If there isn't, I'm going to factorize either normally or I will look for a difference of two squares. Or if there's 4 or more terms, there's grouping involved. So, highest common factor here is what? And remember now, just because it's a fraction doesn't mean we must get confused. A different way of writing this will be 45 minus 5, 1 over b squared. Alright? That's just me rewriting it. So, highest common factor here will be obviously a 5, right? Because 5 can go into 45 9 times, and 5 into itself 1 time. So, when I factorize that, it will be 5. You took a highest common factor of 5. What's left over here is a 9, because 5 times 9 gives me 45. And then take out the 5 here, I'm left with a 1 over b squared. 5 times minus 1 over b squared gives me 5 1 over b squared. And then only now will this become difference of two squares. Difference of two squares. Common factor down, then you say 3 plus 1 over b, 3 minus 1 over b. Remember I said you'll have the same things on the inside of the bracket, of both brackets, but the signs will be opposite. One will be positive, one will be negative. And you end with your answer over there. Okay? Very straightforward. First thing you look for, highest common factor. That's the most important thing you look for first. Highest common factor. Looking at number 7. 16x. I actually see that. Let me use something. Okay. Look at it like that. So, I know it looks like a big thing, like a big or difficult question because of that exponent. But remember what I told you. The first thing you look for is the highest common factor. And the highest common factor here has to be a y because there's only two terms, and the only thing that's common in both terms is a y. So you write down a y. So you write down what's left over. This is 16x 36 minus 1. Already, we must see that this is creating differences of two squares. So this is difference of two squares. Of two squares, because that's minus 1 already gives me in. And also this 36, this is to the power of 36. This 16x to the power of 36 can be squared. Alright? So 16x to the power of 36. Okay, so then I'm gonna put my differences of two squares, my brackets, right? So I'm gonna have a 4 there and a 4 there because 4 times 4 gives me 16. This is also 4x. It's 4x, right? Then I must know that I must now separate this to the power of 36. And how I do that is by saying 18 and 18. Because 4x to the power of 18 multiplied with 4x to the power of 18 equals to 16x to the power of 36. This is my laws of exponents, right? So when I have, so this law of exponents, so that is saying if I have x to the power of 3 multiplied with x to the power of 5, I add the exponents. This gives me x to the power of 8. So x to the power of 9 times x to the power of 9 equals to x to the power 18. So the exponents. That's what's going on over here. 4x to the power of 18 times 4x to the power of 18 gives me 16x to the power of 36. Then very easily the back number will be 1 because there's a 1 over there. 1 times 1 gives me 1. Like I said, the things on the inside of the bracket will be the same, but the signs will be opposite. They're not done yet because I have to notice once again that this is difference of two squares, yes, and also this. This now becomes difference of squares. So, how do I do this now? I write down my highest common factor and I write down my first bracket because I can't factorize this bracket anymore because there's a plus sign now here. You only factorize when there's a negative in a different two squares over there. So 4x 18 plus 1, I write as is. Then I'm gonna have two brackets again. When I have two brackets again. So I will do this again. I look at this number here. It's a 4. And I must uh, break it up into 2 times 2. 2 times 2 gives me 4. And there's an x next to it. So I'll break that 18 up. I'll look at how I do it again. You add the exponents when you multiply with the same base. So it's gonna be 9 times 9. 2x to the power of 9 times 2x to the power of 9 gives me 4x to the power of 18. Then very easily, it's a 1 times a 1 gives me a negative 1, or gives me 1. Then I have the same thing in the brackets for difference of two squares, and then the one gets the plus sign and the other one gets the negative sign. Doesn't matter which one. Okay, so I know what you're going to ask me next. Can you factorize this again? You can factorize this negative until infinity and beyond. There will always be a negative because it's different of two squares. There will always be one bracket with a positive and one bracket with a negative. So you will factorize till forever. So depending on the mark count, you will know more or less where you must stop. So if it's 3 marks, just factorize them until this step here. Then you're done. It works the same always. Always works the same. Just remember, x to the power of 9 times x to the power of 9 equals to x to the power of 18. X to the power of 7 times x to the power of 3 equals to x to the power of 10. Laws of exponents. And that's how you know how to break that up. That exponent there. 9, because it's not 9 times 9, it's 9 plus 9 because the bases are the same. When the base is the same, you add the exponent. That's laws of exponent. Okay, looking at number 8 now. Number 8, visually, there's 4 terms. Immediately, I don't think of highest common factor. I don't think of difference to squares. I think of grouping. So I think of grouping. Highest common factor won't work here just yet. So, so looking at what I have on top first, I already know it's going to be grouping because there's 4 terms. But what am I going to group together? It actually does not matter what you group together, you will get the same answer. If you do not get the same answer, you did something wrong. But you can group any two pairs together. So what I'm going to do is, let me see what I used actually. I used AB and B minus X. Okay, so you can group anything together. Let us see. So I grouped AB minus BX and X squared minus AX. So positive X squared minus AX. So that's just you arranging it so that when you factorize, it will be smooth sailing for you. So what do I do next? I look at what I have. And what I have is, I look at these two now here in front. So I look at these first, the first bracket. Don't put them in brackets because a sign might throw you off, so don't put it in brackets, actually. Don't want to confuse you with that. So what you're going to do is, you're going to the first two, then the second two will be afterwards. So, highest common factor here will be a B. Left over is a minus a X. Then, I'll look at this idea. Highest common factor here is an X, because there's an X there and an X there, and there's no A here, but there's an A there. So it's a positive X. I'm left with positive X minus A. So I see here's the A minus X, and there is the X minus A. That's this opposite signs to what I want. So what I do now is I can pick either one for which sign I want to change. I can either change the sign here or here in the bracket. I'm going to change the one here to back. So A minus X, I take a negative out. And then when I take a negative out, the signs on the inside will swap around. So here will be now a negative X plus an A equals to B A minus X minus X. Now I'm just going to sort it out to make it the same as this one here. It's going to be A minus X. Now I see, oh wow, I have now a highest common factor again, right? I have the same bracket. This is not my highest common factor. This is the same thing as you saying, if the equation looked like this, if it says BA minus XA, the highest common factor there will be an A. Then what's left over is a B minus X. Alright? So what I do now is I have an A minus X as my highest common factor. What's left over is a B minus X. Alright? Then I'm done. So important thing to note, whenever you are doing grouping, whenever you are doing grouping, if you do not have this bracket that's the same after you've grouped, even this that is similar is acceptable. Where is it now? Yeah, these two here on top, these two here. Yes, the sign is different of the inside the bracket, but you can change that signs out by taking that negative in there and then changing the signs around. That is acceptable. But if you do not have brackets that have the same variables or numbers on the inside, just the sign is different, the sign different is acceptable. But if you don't have the same numbers on the inside of the brackets, you must know that something is wrong and you're determining wrong. That means you did something wrong. So what I want us to do actually is now to use a different set of variables. So let us see here. AB minus BX. Let's use a different pair and then see if we get the same answer. So what did we use before? We used the AB. Let's use different ones now. So before we used an AB and BX. So let's take AB minus AX plus x squared minus BX. Because you can pick any two pairs that you want to group together. You can pick. Doesn't matter which one you pick, you're supposed to get the same answer. Okay, so what do I do now? I look at the first two. Then I say highest common factor there is an A. What's left over is a B minus X. Now I look at this side. I ask myself, what's the highest common factor there? And the highest common factor there is an X again. So it's an X. What's left over is an X minus B. I do the same thing again because the signs is different in the inside of my brackets, but there is the same things. Isn't extra things, isn't missing a variable, missing anything. They are exactly the same things on the inside. They have to be the exact same thing. Only difference is the signs. But I can deal with that, right? You can actually pick either one to change the sign with. Doesn't matter at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the sign out here, negative out there, and then the sign will change. Now I'm going to just write it nicely over. Then I now have my highest common factor. Highest common factor for grouping. Here I did a sign change. Here is the same bracket, but different sign. And that's acceptable to us, right? The same bracket, but there's a difference of signs. This X is positive, that's negative. That B is negative, this B is positive. It's acceptable because I can change the sign in the next step by doing this. Alright? Then my highest common factor has to appear. Either it appears here perfectly or here. It depends on the signs. So highest common factor is B minus X. So I put it down, B minus X. What's left over is A minus X. As a final answer. And what is the final answer we got? Is A minus X, A minus X, B minus X, B minus X. And I grouped two different things. AB minus BX, AB minus AX. X squared minus AX, X squared minus BX. Two different groupings for the same equation. And I got the same answer. That must tell you that no matter what you do in grouping, you should get the exact same answer. You will just group correctly. That's the goal. Grouping correctly. Okay. Number 9. Number 9. By now, our eye must be trained to see that we have a highest common factor. So that's the first thing we look for. There is not 4 terms, so that's the first thing we look for. And the highest common factor here is A minus B. I write it down and I tell myself what is left over. That's the x squared plus 1. This is not different to 2 squares because this is a positive sign there. So you can't do the difference of 2 squares for that one. If it was a minus, you can, but that will be your final answer. Where it's sitting now. So this just looks tricky because there's a bracket. But what this equation actually is saying x squared a minus a. That's all it's saying. Highest common factor is a left. Oh, it's actually plus. Yeah, it's plus. X squared a plus a. Highest common factor is still a because there isn't an x in the other term, in the second term. Highest common factor is a. What's left over is an x squared plus an a. Actually, plus 1. Plus 1. Yeah, it's plus 1. Because a times x squared gives you x squared a, and a times 1 gives you a. A minus b times x squared gives you x squared a minus b. A minus b in brackets times 1 gives you a minus b. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. So, again, that this x squared plus 1 is not a difference of two squares because there isn't a minus. Only when there's a minus would this become a difference of two squares. Okay, look at number 10. Number 10 is there's no highest common factor, there is no grouping, there is no, yeah, there's nothing of that. There's no four terms, only three terms. So that will tell me I'm going to do normal factorizing with my two brackets. How do I determine my two brackets? I'll look here in front first. There is an x squared, nothing in front of the x. So it's going to be an x and the x. I must look at this back number over here. This back number is a 10. So I must pick two numbers. As I write on the facts of 10. What's going to give me 10 is a 10 and a 1, a 2 and a 5. And that is it. Alright? So I must pick any two numbers that when I multiply them together, they give me 10. And then when I add those two numbers together, they must give me 3. So they must also give me negative 3. And when I multiply them together, they must give me a negative 10. Sign is very important. So looking at what will give me 10, when I say 10 times 1, give me 10, 5 times 2 gives me 10. 10 and 1 will never give me 3 ever in my lifetime. So it can't be these two. It has to be a 5 and a 2. But which one gets the positive and which one gets the negative? Well, I can say it very easily and tell myself negative 5 plus a 2 will give me negative 3. And I want negative 3. If my 2 was negative and my 5 was positive, I will get a positive 3. And I don't want the positive 3, I want a negative 3. That's how I know my 2 will get a positive and my 5 will get a negative. And I'm done factorizing. Straightforward. My two numbers, when I multiply them together, they must give me my negative 10, and when I add them together, they must give me my negative 3. Negative 5 times 2 gives me negative 10. Negative 5 plus 2 gives me negative 3. That's how you check your answer. I'll check your answer even more is if you multiply this bracket out completely, then you will get your equation on top. Okay, moving on. Moving on. So, number 11. Number 11 is saying x squared plus 7x plus 12. Again, I look at my back number. I must get two numbers, or I must pick two factors, or two multiples. Yes, two multiples of 12. two numbers that will give me 12. So now multiply them together to give me 12. Then those two numbers must give me a positive 7. So let's look at the numbers that gives us 12, right? So it's 12 and 1, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. So all of these numbers will give me 12, yes. But what numbers will give us 7? 12 and 7 will not give me 7. 6 and 2, when I add it together, they will never give me 7 in any way. But 4 and 3, they will give me that 7. So I know that I'm going to have a 4 and a 3. And this over here is only the x's alone. So I know it's going to be an x and an x. And I can see that there's a positive sign there and a positive sign there. So there's no negative that's going to be in my brackets, only positive and a plus in both brackets. When I multiply 4 and 3, it gives me 12. When I add 4 and 3, a positive 4 and 3 gives me a positive 7 as well. Okay. Then, number 12. So number 12 is a 2x squared minus x minus 1. I write down the 2x because there's a 2x and the x. 2x times x gives me 2x squared. The back number is a negative 1. And the only thing that can give me a negative 1 is a 1 and a 1. But which one gets the negative and which one gets the positive? Well, I ask myself this now. If I say, I should put it like this. So if I say 2x, this is my first bracket, that's my second bracket. So if I'm going to say 2x times x gives me 2x squared, 2x times 1 will give me 2x. X times 1 will give me x. But I need a negative x. That means whatever my 2 gets multiplied with, it needs to be bigger than, there needs to be a bigger negative value than this one. So it has to be this one to get the negative and this one a positive. And what I mean by that is this. So here's my bracket, 2x and 1 and x and 1. One of them is getting negative sign, right? So 2x times x gives me 2x. 2x times 1. 2x times x gives me 2x squared. I mean 2x times 1 gives me 2x. 1 times x gives me x. 1 times 1 gives me 1. I don't have a sign yet, right? So I need to get a negative x out of this. I already know I must get a negative 1, but I don't know which sign to make negative. So I must look at this middle one here. I must get negative 1. And I'm going to get negative 1 is if my 2x is the negative 1 and my x is the positive 1. That will give me my negative x. Alright? So the only way that this negative 2 or this negative or this 2x can be negative is if I go back and say 2x times x gives me 2x squared and 2x times 1 gives me 2x, but only negative 2x. That means that this negative has to go here. And then 1, this one has to be positive because 1 positive 1 times negative 1 must give me a negative 1. Then my answer will be 2x squared minus x minus 1. And that's how you know what sign to put where. That's one way of figuring it out. Looking at number 13 now. Number 13 is saying x squared plus 2xy plus y squared. Plus y squared. So, look at the front number. There's no number in front, so there's going to be an x over an x. The back one is a y and a y, because it's standing alone. And that's pretty straightforward because here is a positive and then there's a positive. So both brackets is going to be positive. X plus y, x plus y. Then I know that if I have um, if I have something, if I have an x times an x, I can write that as x squared. Alright, that is why I'm putting it like this. X plus y and x plus y is the same bracket, simplified into x plus y squared. That's all that happened there. Okay, so number 14. Number 14 is saying 4x squared plus 4x minus 24. First thing I look for, there's three terms, it's a trinomial. There's no grouping, there's no definite two squares that I can see. However, there's a 4x squared there's a 4x squared plus 4x minus 24. There is a highest common factor. I take out the highest common factor of 4, I'm left with a x squared plus x minus 6. 4 times x squared gives me 4x squared. 4 times x gives me 4x. 4 times negative 6 gives me negative 24. Now I factorize like normal. So I look at this here inside. I put the highest common factor down. I look what's inside. I have an x and then x. Now I look at this back number here. It's a 6. So I must look at the multiples of 6. What gives me 6 is a 6 and a 1, a 2 and a 3. These numbers, they must give me a positive 1. And 6 and 1 will not give me that. Only a plus 3 and a minus 2 will give me a positive 3. So I know that I will have a positive 3 and a negative 2 in my brackets. And that is how you will factorize all the other questions that we have. So I look at this now. I say 4 is my common factor. These brackets is coming from this big bracket here, right? So x times x gives me x squared. 3 times negative 2 gives me negative 6. 3 positive 3 minus 2 gives me a positive 1. Then 4x times x squared gives me 4x squared. 4 times x gives me 4x. 4 times negative 6 gives me negative 24. That's how I know my factorizing is 100% correct. How we answer these questions is how you answer all the other questions of the factorizing. This comes from the list. And the list is as follows. So here is the first 14 that we marked now today. Then the next batch is these over here. And there's one last one here at the bottom, number 30. Then there's a bit more on this side, 31, up until number 46. Then it's this last bit over here, 47 to 50. And the way we identified what we have, highest common factor, uh, we looked for we look for highest common factor, look for highest common factor, we look for difference of two squares, we look for normal factorizing with the two brackets. Number 4 is grouping. Grouping comes along when there's 4 or more terms. When factorizing. Okay, I hope this video helps you guys, and I want you to note that factorizing is very important for most of your equations. So if you can't factorize, you can't do most of the algebra that we have, and there's a lot. There's quite a lot of them. So it's going to be used in LCM and HCF, and also your fractions. So it's very important to master this. I hope this video helped you guys. I hope you can now all factorize nicely, because these are the 4 things we have to identify when before we even approach the question. This is what we should identify first when we look with our eyeballs. HCF, difference of two squares, factorizing normally,